Welcome to Red V TV, supported by Chapel House Cars for the 2025 season. As we continue our build up to the new campaign, and it's our number 22, Kevin.
It's Ben Davies.
40 appearances, 11 tries, one goal for the club. Much maligned at times, and we've banged on about this so much. It's ridiculous, our fan base. I'm sorry, I'm going to call him out on it. It's just scandalous the way he's treated.
Yeah, I think having an opinion on ability is absolutely fine. Having an opinion on whether he is Saints quality is absolutely fine. As I think we always say, it's when you get to the personal stuff, and we've seen plenty of it over social media, whether it be in comments on our videos, whether it be in comments on Twitter, whether it be Facebook, whatever. When you go to being personal about things, people will do well to remember that this is just a lad going out there to play rugby. And I'd like people like that to reflect on how they would feel if it was their son or their brother or um, whoever that they know and care about getting the same abuse. They obviously won't because they're probably the type of people who don't go to games anyway. Um, but yeah, as I say, if people don't think he's good enough, fine. That's people's prerogative. Um, if people don't think that he's Super League class, again, fine. You're entitled to that opinion. Just don't get personal with it.
8 tries and 16 appearances in 2022 in the season we won the title. 11 appearances in 2023, 11 in 2024. Has Ben Davies suffered by being pigeonholed as a utility player? Or
Yeah,
is
I think
or
so.
or is that what has kept him around the squad?
I think a little bit of both. I think he'd do well for getting a run in one position. Whether that's because we're light in the centres, and I don't know if other players will end up moving ahead of him in that respect. But I think that he'd do well for getting a run of 6, 10, 12 games in one position, not moving out of that position, being sure of a place, which I don't know if he will ever get, but he'd probably do better. A bit like Sam Royal, the Sam Royal effect. Um, but I think his ability to fill in different positions means that that's probably why he's round. And the fact that, as we said in our review, excuse me, our review, having some more experienced members of the squad to train against and to run at in our post training sessions is a good thing. You can't just have a boatload of young lads who haven't really done it at this level. You've got to have that kind of mix, I think, and that's probably why he is still in the Saints squad.
I don't recall many occasions where Ben Davies has let Saints down. It's almost like when you go back, what, 20 years, 20 odd years, even in the Saints' best team, it was always like you had to have a whipping boy. It was Francis Melly. When you look back now, Francis Melly, how on earth was Francis Melly a whipping boy at this club? There's
Imagine
always
Francis
got,
Mellon.
yeah, there's always seems to be one. And like, what the thing that frustrates me is you'll see a completely unrelated post on Facebook from the club, and you'll go into the comments and it'll be about Ben. In a salary cap sport, you need solid professionals like Ben who are willing to be on X amount a year, bulk out the squad, and you know you can put them in and they'll do a job.
Yeah, listen, have we seen enough from Ben in those appearances that say he's going to have a long-term Saints career? Probably not. But you're right. At the moment, does he fit the? He can play a couple of different positions. He's probably not happy being 18th man, but fills that 18th man role admirably, stays professional about it, um, keeps his head down and cracks on with it. Probably so. And I know that there was the argument, and we did this in the review of if he's utility, why wasn't he being picked more when we were struggling for players? You look at centre, playing centre. Matt Whitley played one game at centre. I think that was the game that Tommy pulled out of, and we put George Delaney in to bulk up the bench. Joe Batchelor played one game at centre. Ben Davies was in the halves that day, so he couldn't play there. We tried getting a tune out of Blake, and then towards the end of the season, when we realised we were getting more um, all the wrong notes in all the wrong order from him, we went with an experienced player in Sione to try and shore up one side. And there's no kind of shame in being beaten to the centre spot by Sione. Um, he's not getting in ahead of Connie or Percy as a first choice as things stand, but you do need your Ben Davises in this world.
But
And I think when you see, I feel like it's very very poor when you see people saying, "Ah, there's better players across the park." If they were, they'd be playing for a lot better teams than your park teams.
yeah, and we did have the that was my argument last season. If you're re-signing Ben Davies as a utility player, which we've done for 2025, you have to use him. It's other, but then
Mm.
as you've rightfully said, you need players like Ben in training to have quality opposition to play against who are willing to fulfill that role. In the NFL, they have the practice squad who mimic the opposition's attack or defense for that week who they're playing, so you can practice against it. I'll tell you what is scandalous. Ben Davis made 11 appearances last season, and Wonga Blake got 24.
Yeah, but
I
how
tell
many
you what, I'd rather
Wongas
have
were on
seen
the
Ben
wing?
Davis in about 10 of them games than Wonga Blake. Wonga Blake should never have got put
Yeah,
back on the
true.
field after that try against Lee. Sorry, I'm having a moan.
Well, no try. I think Ben Davis should have finished that try as
Yeah.
well. I think he'd have just backed himself and gone for it. Um, yeah, it's Ben's potentially one of them players who's going to be unfortunate in a Saints career that he's just going to be. He's got players ahead of him in a lot of positions, and he needs so much luck for it to change and him to be first choice. Um, as you say, that's just how professional sport works. It just is that not everyone gets the stellar career. Not everyone gets the grand final appearances, the Challenge Cup final appearances. It doesn't work like that. But he's a great lad to speak to. Seen him a couple of times as well, and had a chat with him. Doesn't deserve the vitriol that's personally aimed at him, and doesn't deserve kind of the quantity of grief that he gets either.
Well,
Listen, if
for a
you
lad who made
if you
11
think,
appearances last season, you'd think he was the reason Saints season went down the Swanee. It's
yeah,
outrageous. It's the equivalent of online bullying. One person's seen a post and everybody jumps on the back of it and thinks it's the dumb thing to make it look like, well, that they're in the in crowd.
yeah,
I don't like it. I've said it multiple times. If Ben
yeah.
Davis future after this year doesn't belong at Saints, I still think Ben Davis is more than capable of making a Super League career elsewhere.
Well, I think he went on loan over to Salford, didn't he? And I think through Red V, we asked a couple of Salford fans how he was getting on. They liked him, but he just played at centre. He wasn't moved about. Like you look at the league game where he played both centre positions and half back because he ended up, I think, the only half back on the field by the end of it. Um, sorry, when Johnny was off for 10 minutes, and Johnny got sin binned and he ended up at half back. Yeah, it's I just I feel sorry for the lad. I feel sorry for the lad because he's done nothing to deserve it. And if it's just a case of his ability means that he gets grief, then I mean, what's this will come to?
No. You watch, we've done what, 10, 12 minutes on this video? I guarantee the people who are going to be in the comments giving him grief haven't got this far. And if you have, use the word awooga because I bet you've not.
Okay.
Code word.
Fair
Let's
enough.
see who's watched this far before they're given grief.
Yeah. Okay.
Right, we'll be back tomorrow with another of our player previews. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.